In this video, we are going to be doing an overview of Photoshop, basic layout and design, and then working with the selection tools to make a fun little thing like this. So when you first get into Photoshop, you'll have the option of creating something new, and it usually comes up with something like this. They already have presets up here for you to use. So if you're going to print something, they even have some mock-ups you can try, which is great. You'll have your recent, your saved. If you have photo or illustration, great things for you to work with. And then also you can change the sizes here. You'll see many of these sizes are the same that you'll see in Illustrator and InDesign. I personally prefer to work in inches. And you can change the size by just punching in the numbers, and you can change the format by working with these. You can also change the resolution. With resolutions, the number one thing to remember is the lower the resolution, the lower the quality of the image. Now, when you're doing something for the web, it's okay to have a little bit lower because how the pixels relate to the screen size. So when you're designing for the web or something digital, having a lower res like 72 is okay, but when you're printing, you want a minimum of 300. So what I always do for my printing is at least keep it at 300. If it needs to go higher, it can. And then keep it at pixels/inches. Color mode here, the two that you'll really be working with usually when you're just starting is either RGB, which is red, green, blue color, or CMYK, which is cyan, magenta, yellow, and K stands for black in this. RGB is just for online and digital, so nothing printed. And the reason for this is because when you display things on the computer, there is different ways the colors work. So when you have RGB, you can go a much brighter color, but with printing, all printers are different, and though you might have a bright neon green or yellow because you worked in RGB, if you print it, it will not look that way because of the color processing of your printer. If you go to a very specialized printer with special techniques and different types of ink, you'll have much more success that way, but that's hardly the case for a student project. But for this, if I was, again, going to print this melon head, which let's just say in reality I am, I'm going to choose CMYK 300, and 8-bit is totally fine. And you can do background. I usually just stick with white. That's just the customary color for Photoshop and what I'm used to. So create. So I have a new document here, and really what I'm going to do is just X out of that, and I'm just going to keep my melon head open and work with that. These are the tools in Photoshop. And these are always here. They never move. So though you can probably take some out, I just always keep them in because you never know what you're really going to need. These are all my different document files I have open. Over here is my Photoshop panels. So usually the ones that I'll have open are paths, channels, layers, and character, different things like that. If I need something else over here, or if you need something else, all you have to do is go to Window, and I'm sure it's going to be over here for you that you can open up. This is your options panel, and this will change for basically every tool that you have. So you can see here, just going to the eyedropper, that changed, the brush, the erase tool. So you'll be able to find most of your options up here for this tool. And then this is the menu up here. So different things like Photoshop, files, so how to export and save, editing, image, and some of these will be grayed out and some of them will be darkened just depending on the tool that you're trying to do and what you're trying to do at the program during that time. So layers is usually the first thing to pop up, and this just means it's locked, so I can't move it. So this is your move tool, and this is sort of your best friend because it's going to move things around, but I can't move anything around because it's locked. Now I'm just going to cancel that, but Photoshop's already picked up that this layer is locked. All I have to do is come over here and click on that, and there you go. Now if I want to rename this, I just have to double click till it's a bright blue, and then put in melon. And that's really across the board with any program of Adobe. So I have one layer here. If I wanted to add another layer, I'd come down here, and it looks like a little piece of folded paper in the corner. I can click on that. So there's my new layer. Now, what I like to do is turn this off for viewing. So I have an eye right here. If I click that, it will get rid of that. Now, when you see the background here, it's checkered. That is the common background for Photoshop. That really equals nothing. It's just an empty space, but it's telling you that the space is there to be filled. When I would print this on a white piece of paper, the white piece of paper is white. I have nothing on this. The melon is hidden. So if I was to print it right now, nothing would be printed. It would just be a white piece of paper. There would be no checker background. So don't get confused by that. That's just there to fill in the space for your eye. And that's it. So I'm going to delete this layer. And all I have to do is either hit delete, or I can come down here and drag it to the trash can. Whatever you find most comfortable. So, looking at these selections, what's really great about Photoshop nowadays is that if you're ever confused in a tool, they give you a great little demo when you hover over. And with these little extended arrows in the corner, if you just click on that and hold, you can change these out. So we'll be working with all these tools today. So the marquee tools, the lasso tool, polygonal, magnetic, and also the quick selection and magic tool. And you can see how these things change when I'm up there. And we're just going to go through the basics so you can start to get comfortable with that. What's also great is that if you go on Adobe, they have a lot of great things broken down for you. So now they have the videos, but they also have these where you can see exactly what these things are used for. So the rectangle marquee tool is great for square things. So if I wanted to draw out this window, obviously the elliptical for circle, and single bars for single bars, different things like that. That's pretty standard and normal. When I go to the lasso, this is more of a freehand drawing section, so best for precision. Polygonal is great for drawing multiple straight edge segments. So think geometric when you think polygonal. Magnetic draws a selection border that automatically snaps to edges when you drag it over the photo. Magic wand selects pixels of similar color with one click. Quick selection tool automatically makes selections based on color and texture when you click and drag. So I prefer the quick selection over the magic wand. The magic wand was what originally started. The quick selection was added a few years ago. Selection brush tool automatically selects or deselects the area you paint. And then the smart brush tool. Now we're not going to get into these right now. We don't need that for the little melon man we're going to make. But this is a great little shortcut for these. So these are the vegetables and fruits that I have to work with. And we're just going to work with them and start bringing them over. So again, it might not look exactly like this little Alfred guy. That's what I call mine. But we'll have some fun with it. So I'm going to zoom in here. Now there's a couple ways you can do that. You can come here to the zoom tool, and up here in your options, you have the options to fit on screen, fill screen, but also zoom in, zoom out. But what I like to do, at least on a Mac, this works, is that if I click and drag, and I'm not letting go, I can zoom this up. It's zoomed in a lot now, 300%. And then what I want to do is come to my minus and then sort of drag it back in towards my computer with my mouse, and it will make it smaller. Also on Macs, you can use your trackpad by spreading your fingers apart. You can zoom in, you can spread out by moving your fingers outwards, and then inwards you can zoom it back in. And another option you can do, which I use a lot as well,